Welcome back to the Doctor Who Watching Now podcast from Couch Suit. Doctor and Ruby Sunday are back for the third episode of the season called Boom, Pow, Kablam. It's a more contained episode with definitely a more serious tone, which is a lot different to what we've had in the last two episodes. Before we get into all of that, let me introduce your panel for today. Boom, Ben.
Hey, I'm just glad I'm not Kablam because that was a completely different episode.
Kapow, Charlotte.
I have nothing witty to say. I'm a boring old person, sorry.
Doom busting Drew.
I am your AI medic here to revive you.
And me, Iain.
Ian recently got turned into a tube.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a disappointment with me. So without further ado, let's go into our non-spoilery overviews of the third episode, Boom. So this third episode was called Boom. Basically, there's a holy war going on, and the Doctor steps on a landmine, and then he stays there for the whole episode. But that's more interesting than you are led to believe. Where Ruby Sunday and a whole bunch of other people need to try and get him off without causing the destruction of the planet/universe. Charlotte.
I liked it. It felt a lot like some of the older episodes we had with some of the previous Doctors where we had AI just kind of run amok. It kind of speaks to where things could go if AI runs amok now. So I like it. It was really kind of cool.
I really liked this one. I think it was some of the best writing that has been there for a while. I think Gower really got a chance to shine in this one. And it just reminds me that Moffat did, in fact, make good stories. And kind of just forgot about that.
I'm a little disappointed. I was expecting listen, the tension is there. I felt it. I don't know. The resolution was a little weak for me. Like, I kind of wanted something more, and I don't know really what, but I felt like the first half of the episode was pretty strong, where the second half kind of just felt a little like, oh my god, we're upping the stakes for no reason, and then the overall, like, it just felt like there were no consequences. I don't know, but I'm a little salty on this one.
We're back, baby! We're back! Oh my god! Thank the Lord, we're back! We're back in no ridiculousness, a little bit of ridiculousness, but serious ridiculousness.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I'm so very happy that this episode has come along. Don't get me wrong, there's still nitpicks here and there, but it just feels good, guys. It just feels good to be back.
Would you say you have a lot of thoughts and prayers?
This episode was the result of those thoughts and prayers, I think.
Yeah, you were praying and you were thinking, and it happened.
And it happened. Obviously, I'm really hyper about this episode, so I may take the back seat until I'm needed to hype everybody up again. So what we'll do is we'll get into the nitty gritty. We'll go into the recap of the episode. Let's go. We're on a battlefield, and there's two random Marines with vicar collars. So they're probably priest-like people, but also Marines. There's no one else on this battlefield apart from these two people. One has got bandaged eyes, and he seems to be pretty worried about his bandaged eyes. They're shambling across the minefield, and they call to one of their daughters, and it's a kid. Ben, it's a kid. You hate kids, don't you?
No, dude. That's Rey Skywalker. That's Rey Skywalker. We finally found the parents. Just flash up a picture of the kid right now. It's Rey Skywalker.
Even if it was Rey Skywalker, we already know who Rey Skywalker's parents was. So shut it up and back down.
This is Moffat's,
wrong show.
This is fan fiction for Moffat.
Right.
The dad is calling the kid. He's obviously injured. He's worried about himself. I mean, but he's keeping a very brave tone of voice.
I mean, it's kind of a normal kind of a reaction for a parent. I think no matter what kind of situation you're in, you want to make sure that your kid is safe first. It's like no parent actually listens to that airline attendant that's like, make sure you put your mask on first before helping your kid. No, that's not going to happen. Honestly, I want one of those phones. I lay mine down and walk off and lose it more often than I care to think. So
Yeah,
I want one of those dermal phones.
it's in their
That, yeah.
like neck and cheek, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It was like, all up in here. It was really cool. Sorry, ambulance is going by.
Oh no, not ambulances!
The ambulances! No!
Exactly.
Are you healthy?
No, really not.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think Doctor Who always does really well is parental relationships. You see a lot of different kinds, but they always get that feeling really close to the mark.
Yeah.
It's kind of a gut punch. I'm seeing this guy walking through what I know is minefields because I saw the preview, and in a blindfold, so he's having to trust this person and then having to trust somebody else with his kid. So he's got to be a mess just going through that.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine being asked to record
Yeah.
last words with all that in your head. It was really well written, really, really well done.
Back at that camp where little Splice is, which we find out Splice is their name at this point, we see two other Marines in the camp, and who's one of them? One of them is Varada Sethu, right? That's the one we saw in the preview of when we did the last watching now as being the next companion, Mundy.
Is it? Whoa,
Yeah.
You're throwing a curveball at me.
I didn't know this.
What? Well, break it down, Ian.
There's Canto and Mundy at the bishop's camp, and Mundy, the lady, is Varada Sethu. She was the one in Andor. She was confirmed earlier on this summer that she's the next companion.
Was that confirmed?
Well,
or was that like a
that was yeah, I think so. I think it was, but when we broke it in the last episode that we did, yes,
Monday Flynn, who is set to join Doctor Who as new companion next season. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Boom, Ian, nice. I did, man.
Nice.
Way over my head.
Wow, nice catch, man.
I'm in a time vortex. I had no
done.
idea what was going on.
I didn't make that
this
connection
episode's
at all.
even more important, guys, than you even thought.
Nice.
Is it the same? Is it the same character? Is he gonna go back?
It's gotta be, right?
Why are you asking me? But probably, right?
Sunday, Monday. Is there a Tuesday next?
Probably, the Wednesday, the next one after that.
No, we can't. They can't have Wednesday. Netflix have it.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, well, they'll bring her in crossover. Let's do
it.
Yeah. So Varada Sethu, she's gonna be the next companion in season 2, according to reports. And since the first time we see her, what's your first initial thoughts of Mundy Flynn?
I just thought it was a chance for them to make a pun, like Sunday, Monday. I thought that she was just going to be one of those like characters who shows up in one episode and introduce some emotional stakes to the people the Doctor's actually trying to protect. But at this point, like the way the story goes, it's like now we know that she might be the future companion. So is this to introduce her like in advance? I don't know now. You've just thrown a massive wrench in the works. I thought she was just going to be gone. I thought it was going to be like Monday's over. Bye.
Yeah. Same. Like that's so crazy. Like because now and here's the crazy thing. The fact that I don't know if that news leaked and then they went forward with it or not. But it would have been more interesting if we didn't know. Like Ian, you telling us kind of blows my mind. And now anybody listening to this podcast who didn't catch that, they're probably thinking like that puts a whole new context on this episode, and B kind of like the future, right? Like we already know they're gonna that's kind of, it's all tripping me up really right now, really. Like I have to reframe this episode in the context of that character and how that character may come back and be applied to as a companion in the future seasons. And the fact that she's called Monday, right? Like, is even now, are we going to get a season? Every season, we're going to get a new companion with a new
day.
date?
There's no A. There's no A in a name according to IMDb. It's just Mundy.
Yeah, it's Mundy.
But still, it makes sense.
I kind of want to go back and rewatch the episode now because I was just mostly annoyed at her because she's kind of hot-headed and blindly follows whatever she has been told before. I don't know. I kind of want to go rewatch it, but it is also who we don't know that she's going to come back as the same character because Peter Capaldi was also in a previous episode before he became the Doctor.
Could be a Clara situation. I don't want it to be a Clara situation.
Oh
as well.
God, no, that was
leave Clara, leave Clara,
and
please.
I just want to reframe it as well. Mundy is unequivocally a soldier, and we know the Doctor hates soldiers.
Yeah,
hates them. He can't bear any of them. When Clara had that boyfriend who I've forgotten the name of,
Danny
he was
Pink.
Danny,
Danny
the guy
Pink.
who became
well done, Ben. Good pull. But he couldn't stand him. And it was because he was a soldier boy. Now Mundy is a soldier at this point in time. So how the hell does she get onto companionship?
Maybe she quits.
Yeah, I mean, loses her faith as it were later in the episode. But I feel like the Doctor's gone a bit soft on that in the sense that at least since this new iteration where she's been using unit a lot more and almost protecting soldiers. You know what I'm saying? Like sad when they're killed by the toy maker. It felt a bit more like bad soldiers guns. No, more like, oh no, this might be a necessary thing. I don't know. Especially when a rocket launcher shoots out of a wheelchair and he's like okay with that. I don't know. But who am I to
the Doctor's always had a soft spot for unit because he worked for them, and also he really had respect for the Brigadier, so I think that really just trickles down in his estimations.
I'm gonna move on, but I'm quickly gonna shout out Canto, who's actually named Canterbury, which I think is ridiculous that they named a bishop Canterbury. It's the Archbishop of Canterbury. And also, I don't know if they did this, but you had Star Trek last week, Drew. But as a foreshadowing, Canto Bight was the place where the proliferating the war effort in Star Wars. And his name's Canto, and it could be a bit of a foreshadowing of that.
I think this is fan fiction. I'm telling you. Moffat's Star Wars fan fiction right here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
You want to talk about fan fiction? Well, right now we've got a situation where the ambulance is played by somebody called Susan Twist, who has appeared in every episode so far and is scheduled to appear for every episode. The name Susan Twist came up in the last episode too.
You're right.
About his granddaughter. Yeah. And I don't think that's the actor's real name.
No, it is. It is their real name, yeah.
Shenanigans going on all over the place in this season, everywhere.
Yeah. So we'll get to the ambulance now because I want to take time on that character as well. Yeah. Mundy and Kant's at Bants. Then the two soldiers, one of them's called John Vater. One of them is called No Name Marine, who's going to die in 2 seconds. I think his name's Carson, but still, No Name Marine. He's a red shirt, let's face it. They're shambling across, and Carson falls into a pit and then steps on a mine, and boom, goes to dynamite.
Blind guy's got no chance.
And the explosion from Carson taking the trip up to space heaven draws the ambulances that they were so scared of earlier in the episode. Well, one of them anyway. And the ambulance comes and tries to see whether Mr. Vater is fit enough to continue the war effort. And as Ben said before, the actress who plays the ambulance has been in every episode of Ruby Sunday Doctor Who so far. In The Church on Ruby Road, she was a patron in Ruby's concert. In Space Baby, she was one of the Weasley space station people who abandoned ship. And in the last episode, she was a tea lady. I even wrote something down in my notes on the day, because she made a distinct effort of telling us her name in that one, and I was like, what does that even mean? And it was Margaret Lockwood, the tea lady. And I thought, oh, this might be famous, but it's not. So I don't know. And then in this one, she's the ambulance. She's in everything, and she is also in the trailer for the next episode. Who the freak is this lady?
Maybe it's like the nanny of Davies, and he's just like, hey, you need extra work, I got this voice acting and maybe a couple cameos, and oh yeah, no, yeah, come on in, like you're watching my kids, and no one. It's not that simple.
No, Drew, come on.
Well, I mean, she's looking at her IMDb. She's not new.
Not
I mean,
a nanny?
she's been acting since 1980. She's been on Coronation Street.
Woo!
So, I mean, I'm trying to pick out things that people here would know.
Why did
But,
they
like,
hire the actor called Susan Twist when there's always a twist? And they mentioned Susan in the episode where there's always a twist, and there's a Susan Twist, and there's still the old lady from the Christmas episode we don't know.
Our minds are blown.
Why
And you're
are there so
introducing the
many
new
old
companion,
ladies?
and the doctor's going to explode. What is happening?
So, who could she be? Could she be the one who waits, who's not Rory?
Let's go ahead and say that's probably yes.
Well, you always wait for tea. You always wait for the ambulance. You're always waiting for the music to start.
All right. I like it. I like that.
You're always waiting for Christmas.
I mean, do we want a
Are we?
preview of next week? Because she has a name. Well, a name, not a. Her character has a. It's called the Hiker.
Yeah, I don't know,
I don't-
because she's
we're
had a
waiting on
name.
that.
She's had,
In each
well, apart
one.
from ambulance, she was called Margaret Lockwood in the previous episode. She
Yeah.
was called, I think, Palsy. It comes off as a palsy in the previous one to that, and I think she's credited as Mrs. Merriweather in the Church on Ruby Road.
Woman at concert, uncredited. And then
I think the question we should be asking is this something we like? Obviously, we're only in 3 episodes out of what, 8.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's probably just not enough information for us to really even make a theory out here, and I wonder if that's purposeful. My concern is, if since we're figuring it out, something like this out this early,
Yeah,
is this a good thing for the show? Because my worry is that like all the fan theories are going to be way cooler than probably what's actually here, what's actually happening. Maybe, I don't know. When this kind of thing starts to steamroll and they kind of inject this, I'd almost wish the pull rug was later in the series rather than now. We're kind of seeing this. Like, I almost wish she was uncredited. That way we wouldn't be knowing like the names and seeing the IMDb. Like, all of that shit should have been hidden.
Same.
If it was truly something that we aren't supposed to be theorizing about. So I'm kind of, it's a little frustrating. I'll be honest, because now my mind's racing, and I have a feeling whatever the answer, whatever truly is the reason, is not going to live up to my expectations.
yeah.
It could be nothing. I mean, she appears to be a character actor, and she may have just signed a contract with them for this season to do different characters. It could be as simple as that.
Maybe he's got some dirt on Davies. He's like, listen,
Maybe
Davies,
it's like, hey,
I released the photos, or you put me in every episode of Doctor Who.
there you
Davies
go.
is such a troll. He's been trolling this entire season. I don't trust him no more.
Yeah, unreliable narrator. Check. Yeah.
My nitpick about this, though, is that we've noticed it, or some of us have noticed it. The Doctor is the smartest person in that room always, and he hasn't noticed that he's seeing the same face over and over again.
Well, to be fair, the ambulance doesn't have it does have a face, doesn't it? Yeah, it did have a face.
Yeah.
I like the
so
mystery.
maybe they'll put a pin on it next week. If she has a major role, then he'll probably put it all together.
The ambulance takes note of his injuries. That Dad Vader, he actually might. She might actually be Rey Skywalker, because
Darth Vader, Rey Skywalker, yeah,
fan fiction.
Exactly.
I'm telling you.
Dad Vader realizes that his eyes will take 4 weeks to heal. That's unacceptable for the war effort. So bye goes Dad Vader. And gets turned into a tube.
For democracy, Helldivers.
Spread managed democracy throughout the galaxy.
It's like a scroll tube. I expect it to pop open and like a letter to come out. Like, it's such a like an interesting looking
Mm.
tube,
Mhm.
or it's like also out of something out of Evil Dead because it looks like the texture of skin and there's like a little eyeball poking out on it. Like I was like, oh, that's pretty morbid. Like that's some
Yeah.
fucked up shit.
Mhm.
Not the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah,
What
No.
came into your mind, Charlotte?
yeah, I know. Yeah.
It looks like a very adult product.
Oh no!
You know where Charlotte's mind is.
Yeah. In the gutter. Vader's dead, and then we get the credits. Wow, it's a long time since this episode starts, and we get the credits, and we cut to the Doctor who hears the scream of Dad Vader. Can't stop laughing at Dad Vader now.
Thoughts and prayers.
Terrible.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
So Doctor goes running to try and find what's happened to the scream, and he falls into a pit. We know that pit, don't we? Red Shirt fell into that one earlier on. Hey, it's time for a musical again, guys.
No!
Dum 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 dum. Musical time with Doctor Who.
Singing a song.
He's singing a song. It's more of a sad song. It's not like a jazz hand dance number. It's the
song
The sky.
is gotta be Sweet Child of Mine.
They couldn't afford the rights, so
No, definitely not.
it's instead what is it? I forget actually now.
The Sky Song. It's about Bonnie Prince Charlie's escape to the Isle of Skye.
it's the lament inside of the musical that is the Doctor Who season that we're in.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ruby is pretty like, what the hell's that song? You know, she hears lots of songs in the time with the Doctor so far, but what the hell's that one? So she goes a wandering and tries to find out what was going on, and finds the Doctor doing yoga. Oh no,
Stork pose.
Daniel's son from the Karate Kid. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, he's on a mine and it's gonna blow. It hasn't blown yet, which is interesting. I thought.
Yeah,
that he was able to do that.
The mine has to work out if you're worth blowing up. And even if you're not, it'll blow up anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the world's worst Roomba.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Aren't you supposed to be cleaning? No, blowing up? Gotcha. Got it.
Yeah, it's great. Make
pretty lights,
a
though.
bigger mess.
Yeah.
The idea behind what he's doing, the Doctor at the moment, is he's keeping himself zen so that the mind doesn't realize that he's alive and worth blowing up. Is that kind of what the deal is?
I don't know. I got the sense more it was about weight distribute. Like I don't know. Like his blood pressure would go up and then the mind would start to tick up. Like so it was like if he was calm, it would stay at three bars till or whatever. Yeah, the logic there I couldn't really follow other than like he has to stay still and he has to stay calm. So
Yeah.
got it, from a narrative standpoint.
I imagine if it's reading his blood pressure that he wants to stay calm so it doesn't pick up on two. The 12th Doctor and Billy go to the planet that's just AI little robots.
Oh, that's
They
easy.
serve him 2 meals because they see 2 hearts, so they think it's 2 people.
Oh,
Thus worth more blowing up.
mine must be like multi-kill.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
why it
I'm not-
wasn't
I don't know.
blowing up.
I think being healthy would be make it so you're more worth blowing up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, because it blew up that other guy, he was fine.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a bit of like a pressure situation where, or
Hmm.
like, it's definitely reading him and it's sort of saying like you didn't freak out, so I'm not going to blow up yet, but you
Mhm.
will soon, and then I'm going to blow up, right?
Yeah.
Or you're going to lose your balance, and then I'll blow. Like it's waiting for him to make a mistake. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I agree. The logic there's a little wonky on.
Something about the mine in particular, it was made by the Velengard Corporation, which was mentioned in the 9th Doctor period. He turned their factory into a banana grove in the Empty Child episode, he said.
Which one's the 9th Doctor? And
Chris.
what?
Chris.
Christopher Eccleston.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was the first season of the 2005 series. It was the one with the gas marks where they're all going,
Yeah.
"Are you my mummy?"
Yeah.
Full circle, back to 9. I like it.
I am a Cyberman. I do like maths, but I also don't remember the numbers of which one is which. So
episode
there
9.
Christopher Eccleston, Vaillant Corporation.
Or was it episode 10? I don't know.
Oh,
It was the empty child.
We've got Indiana Jones situation. We need to do some weight distribution matching. Doctor tells Ruby to go and find a big rock. And she doesn't come back with a rock. She comes back with the casket. Let's call it the casket because that's what they called it, not the adult toy Charlotte.
Sure.
It's even worse that we're calling it Daddy Vader now.
Daddy Vader. No, we call it Dad Vader. I didn't call it Daddy Vader.
I think that is something you can buy.
Yeah.
I got the extra large Daddy Vader.
Oh my.
It vibrates.
My Schwartz is bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we talking about right now?
I don't know. I think we all went temporarily insane.
Temporarily.
So they get Daddy Vader.
Nice segue.
And they do karaoke time with Doctor and Ruby again. And they pass the baton to Doctor on the beat.
Can we talk about how Ruby was possessed by the spirit of Clara and was like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm not doing it like you're doing it. And just walks right up to him and is like, I'm going to throw this in your hand. And if you blow up, it's your own fault.
Yeah, and I'll die too. Yeah. I like this scene. I thought this was really nice. I like the timing. I hate when they're like, okay, on 3, is it 3 or at 3? And like that's always like pulled for a joke, but I thought they made this like more serious and like, no, listen, we got to do this right or we're toast. And I thought I don't mind that she has a bit of bravado in this scene where she's sort of like, listen, I can help, let me do it, like instead of you throwing it and catching it, which I agree sounds like a terrible fucking idea. So and I thought that, and the doctor was very, very sincere here too, which I really thought was well acted. And I don't know, this moment to me was probably one of the best moments in the episode.
What I didn't sort of get was that Ruby knows from the last episode she's been filled in on the toy maker and stuff. Now she doesn't trust Doctor in the game of catch.
It was so weird. It's like, I honestly thought that that Moffat may have made this episode for the 11th Doctor and Clara, because Ruby was starting to act a lot like Clara in that moment. I'm pretty sure. And I was thinking, well, he mentions fish fingers and custard later. There's another 11th Doctor reference I can't remember, but there's about 3 of them in this episode. So I think that originally Moffat might have made this episode for the 11th Doctor and just never actually put it out there. And maybe now he's adapted it for Gatwa's Doctor, which is fine. But I felt like maybe some essence of the original script might have gotten in there with Ruby, because I don't think it's something she would have done necessarily.
I'm standing on a mine, and you're asking, you're going to have someone throw something. I don't disagree that he's going to catch it, but to shift your weight and like that moment of like catching it, there's no way to, like, it's almost near impossible. Like, whereas like a quick hand, and I don't know. Like I actually was sort of like logically that made sense to me, like the handoff versus the throw, right? There's just so many things that could go wrong with the throw. Logically, I saw the reasoning, but I agree with that. When you say it like that, Ben, that this might have been written in that era, and then you bring up all those references, it does make a lot more sense.
They hand it off, and the vacuum drones come and vacuum all the dust in the planet, I guess.
Yeah, the smoke.
Yeah, which makes it look really pretty, the landscape. The Doctor says, oh, this is your first time on a different planet, which is true, but she did just go outside of a different planet on the space station. So again, chronologically, some of the dialogue may not make sense a lot, but still pretty planet.
Yeah, that moment kind of struck me as weird, like, the doctor's like, what are you doing? Why are you staring? Like, I'm in trouble over here. And she's like, oh, and he kind of like, oh, you've never, but it also took a weird, like the tension away from the moment where I felt like okay, you're standing on a mine, you're about to die, and you're gonna have this sincere moment, like, oh yeah, sit there and enjoy it, like take your time. Like it was really weird. Like I'd be like, hell no, like focus on the problem, like you stop daydreaming about the planet. When I'm alive again, or when I'm off this mine, we can have a moment again. Like again, this was another one of those moments where I was like, oh, really good moment, and then I felt like a moment where I was like shaking my head a little bit.
So the handoffs happened. And Daddy Vader AI comes up and starts talking to Shooty and Ruby. And just as that happens, wouldn't you know it, Splice turns up on the crest of the big hole, somehow navigating the full minefield from her side to come and see AI Daddy Vader.
Holograms and suspiciously Star Wars looking person.
Fan fiction. Daughter Splice is running. Where's daddy? Where's my daddy? And like, she was awful annoying. Like, can't you see the situation, kid?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, read the room. I don't know.
See someone's on a mine. You can see that your dad's non-corporeal.
Yeah. It's got the thing. I mean, it's
yeah. And then she has a fight with Ruby Sunday, which Ruby Sunday wins just about.
If she'd had her lightsaber, it would have been a different story.
You're throwing Ian off his game here.
Yeah, it's fine.
Know what to do with it.
It's fine.
Doesn't know what to
do. There's so many Star Wars references in this.
I know. We're gonna relabel this. This should not be called Boom, a Star Wars story.
Yeah. The AI turns up again for Danny Vader and says kiss kiss, because that's what he says to his daughter. It's not a Holly Valance reference.
Somebody will get it.
Yeah. Mundy turns up and starts making things worse.
She very smartly holds a gun to the guy on a landmine and it's like, put down the dead guy. That's not your dead guy. It's our dead guy. Put it down, even though it's keeping you alive.
I need to go back and rewatch this, maybe with a view of I'm going to see her again. Maybe I can read something else into her behavior. But right now, I just kind of want to hip check her down those spiral stairs in the TARDIS.
Although she does make a lot of, like, she does end up making a lot of right choices. It takes her a while to get there.
Yeah, at this point, though, don't like her.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the character goes through quite a big arc in this episode of everybody hating her and everything going wrong for her. So
yeah,
you can't help but feel sorry for her in the end of the episode.
And some of that's not even in her control. Like, you're about to get there, but there's a moment where, like, she's trying to do the right thing with Ruby, and then it ends up backfiring because of another idiot that comes into play. But like, it felt like she sort of started to figure it all out.
They then talk about who the guys are actually fighting on this planet, and they call them the Castarians, and no one's ever seen any of them because they're in the fog or in the mud or just nowhere. Doctor figures it out in 10 seconds that they're actually nowhere. It's the Villain Guard Corporation that is making up these combatants so that they can keep selling their shit over and over again to all the bishops. So after a couple of shots to the arm that Mundy gives the Doctor, the ambulances turn up because they hear some fighting. It's like, hey, up, more money to be made by getting rid of some more combatants.
Do you think they have a quota? Like, if the ambulances take out so many people, 100%. They get paid? Yeah.
100%. They take out a number of people with all their weapon equipment because they just get fried, incinerated. Everything with them goes, so they can sell more shit to the new combatants that they recruit. So Monday, in all her wisdom, tells Ruby, let's distract the ambulances. You shoot me, and I'll be the one that takes the flak from the ambulances.
Yeah.
Which is a great idea in theory.
Well, she says that she puts her gun down to the lowest setting so the ambulance won't kill her and will just heal her, which is a great plan until
Another idiot shows up.
Kanto turns up.
Soldier.
Yeah. But you know, he loved her. So when you see someone at gunpoint that you love, you're gonna protect him, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, from his POV, he was probably doing the right thing for sure.
Yeah, but
it just felt sort of like, now you got it. Like, that moment where like everything has to, like, the dominoes of, like if this moment, like, because if he didn't show up 4 seconds later or 4 seconds earlier, this wouldn't have been a problem,
Well,
but like this moment.
Let's see. He doesn't order her to freeze, as it's clearly a civilian. He opens fire on what I can assume is probably full blast. And Ruby gets freaking shot.
Like, shot to hell. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
several
It's like
times.
5 shots in her or something like that. It's substantial.
Doesn't look good for Ruby.
No.
No.
The doctor's like, just still on his
crying again.
That ain't good. Yeah.
At least he can't run away today. So Ruby is well and truly hurt. The ambulance has come, assesses her. Thoughts and prayers, guys. Thoughts and prayers, because Ruby is not going to survive this.
Of course, my thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families.
Of course, yeah. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Tragedy like this really puts things in perspective.
And it starts snowing again. Oh, so the 3rd time in a row it's snowing. What's going on here? Have we had any further thoughts about what's going on?
Not really. All the doctor said was like it was a memory, like at the memory of the day that she was left at the church. And I can't think of any of the previous creatures that we had seen that can do that, except for like the snowmen, but she's not a snowman, so.
I have a theory.
Uh-oh.
Go, Ben.
What you got, Ben?
You know how we're on Disney Plus?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think she's Elsa?
She's Elsa.
Nice. Wow. Star Wars.
Nice.
Disney.
I
That's
mean,
crazy.
Disney owns Star Wars.
I know.
It works.
The crossover of the century.
No, it's absolutely fine, Ben. Like, we've had Mickey Mouse theories, we've had Elsa theories. Next week it's going to be Moana. I don't know.
Well, we're in Wales, so I don't know. Is there a Welsh Disney character?
I don't think so. There's a Scottish one though, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Merritt is the closest you're gonna get.
That's it. Well, I've Peter Capaldi dressed up as Merida.
The ambulance says, no, you're not having any treatment. You're almost dead. It's not worth my time. So at this point, we get into the bargaining section of grief, which the doctor tries to bargain with the AI of the ambulance and then Daddy Vader to try and help out Ruby Sunday. And he sort of convinces Daddy Vader and Monday that, faith is convenient in times of good health.
Well, he's saying that faith is helpful in your daily life to help you get through life struggles, but not for major situations like conflict, I think. Like, I think that he's saying that faith isn't a really good thing to put all of your chips in when it comes to something so serious as warfare.
At the same time, we're getting the countdown because the mine is on a timer. So the doctor's fecked, Ruby's fecked, Daddy Vader's gone missing, whilst the ambulance AI is doing the snarling villain type mocking situation, and all the timers run out at the same time. The mind says kiss kiss. The AI says kiss kiss, like it's Daddy Vader.
I think I kind of want to rewind just a little bit. I think we left out a really important thing.
Okay.
Is the fact that the doctor tells everyone, it's like, scan me. I'm not just like, I'm not like, because what's his face shows up and he's like, he's gonna die, he's dead anyway, like it doesn't matter, like, whatever. And he's like, no, like that, I'm not just anybody. Scan me. If I go, I'll take half this planet with me. And which is like, actually, like, from a plot device, like pretty cool. Like this is a moment where I'm like, okay, this is clever, this is good writing. Like there's a lot of time and energy, and I'm not just what I appear to be, which obviously is a metaphor, but obviously really true. in the moment, and it puts the stakes at a higher level. So now they're not just saving the doctor; they're whatever they do here is saving everybody that they know on this planet, basically. So I thought that was really fascinating, and he's being clever by like appealing to an AI, which I wish they did a better job of showing that this AI could learn it, in the sense that it was less of a message AI, like that could just replicate voice and like an LLM, like more like what we know of is like, oh, it can like replicate and answer like some similar questions, but that it could actually like feel and learn. Because I didn't quite get that. And when he starts to plead to Daddy Vader to like save his daughter, and in order to he has to save his daughter, I kind of didn't buy that. That was a moment here where this is the part in the episode where I'm kind of like, I'm not sure that this would I'm not sure that this technology can be appealed to, right? Does that make sense? It's not like a real person. So like I don't know. I was kind of like, this part flew. It didn't jive.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Drew on that. If it had been the kind of AI that we had at the Christmas episode where we had the 12th and first Doctor together, if we had had that kind of AI interaction with this, I think it would have worked better because that AI was definitely more intelligent. It learned, it reacted, it acted like a person. Yeah, so it was a little tough to swallow.
Felt like it just needed like a couple lines of dialogue where the why they're trying to save the vessel or the casket, I guess here, is like, hey, that's not just what's left, the remains, and it has like this cool video message, but like that's how we remember, like we can interact with this person, they learn, they grow with it. My dad can see me grow. Like I don't think they did a good enough job explaining the importance of it, and that the AI inside of it is intelligent enough to be part of the family. Like that it didn't hit. So therefore when the Doctor was sort of using it to infiltrate robot, like I was kind of like, what's happening here? Like how is this possible? Like I was having a hard time following.
And it may come through on another watch.
Maybe.
I've only watched it once. But for a bottle episode, or what is mostly a bottle episode, there is a whole lot going on. I don't know how much they could pack in there. That was a lot.
Yeah,
there was loads. I made like 3 pages of notes in this one compared to like 2 and the last 2.
Just quickly, I'd like to see if anyone has any ideas about when the ambulance has Ruby's medical records from 3,000 years ago and it just loops on next of kin.
The year, I think, because they would have been in the future and on another planet. So that part made sense, but
yeah, but to me, right, the next of kin should have come up with her adopted mother, unless there's just nobody left who would be considered next of kin.
Because it's like 3,000 years later.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wasn't sure what they were trying to imply there, like that she doesn't survive to have a next of kin. Does that make sense? Like you know what I'm saying? Like her story ends and therefore there's no one, like it kept searching, like it's searching like on a loop, and never found anything.
Danny Vader comes back, saves the day, gets Doctor off the landmine, gets Ruby revivification. Hooray! Everyone's alive apart from Kanto, who died like 2 seconds ago, but it didn't really matter because he was a dick anyway.
he got wasted by an ambulance.
Yeah, he did.
And did anything even happen to him? Like the ambulance just rolled up to him and went, hard scratch. This guy has a broken heart. Better kill him.
Broken heart. I love it. That was nice. That was a nice moment between the tween. Like here's the moment, right, where Monday, thank you, is sort of like finding her humanity through her, like via not faith but through personal relationships, which is cool. I like this moment where she's like, they're confessing love, right? Like, and he's sort of like, would you have loved me if, and before she could even answer, you know what I'm saying, that she knows the answer, and I think he kind of is about to know the answer too. And I thought this, again, like it was like, I felt like this episode was just like ups and downs, like really, really cool personal moments, but then like some illogical sort of like moments of like, why is this happening here, and like what's going on, and that doesn't make sense. Like, so it was like almost like the actors knew what the job was, but the writer Moffat didn't quite nail the like narrative logic. But I really like that moment between these two characters, and it was, I thought it was shocking that he died. Like I was shocked. I was like, oh shit.
And
So
then his AI just comes and says, I have a message for you. And basically says, I love you, but I
Yeah.
know you don't love me. And then it just ends. And she's just stood there like, ah!
She's just wrecked.
Yeah.
yeah,
like,
Like,
like
yeah.
it's a stop. She's already dead.
All right, so we're getting towards the end now. Doctor does a drum dance because why not? He loves dancing, he loves singing. And then
He just loves dancing.
does a drum dance. Why must they do dancing and singing all the time?
Because it's High School Musical.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. It's like this Doctor Who was a theater major. You know, like
Yeah.
he's just so
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's very much like
Charlotte.
an actor's actor. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on board with it. I love it.
yeah, he's great.
It's growing on me.
The Doctor and Ruby go back in the TARDIS. Mundy and Splice, who survived, go back to the Bishop's camp, and that's it. And then
Well,
we are
the
left.
war's over.
Yeah, they
He ends the
surrendered.
war.
It's
Yeah,
not.
they
They haven't
surrendered,
surrendered. She doesn't have the authority to surrender.
The AI surrendered for them.
I think Daddy Vader just give him a stay of execution. That's
okay.
all. That's how my take anyway.
Oh, really? I got the sense like the AI is like gone now. Like none of the shit will work.
Okay.
Like the robots, the hospitals aren't going to kill anybody. Like, and they're going to go back to camp and say this. Hey, there's no whatever Villigard, and therefore, like we're all good. We're all good. Let's go home. Have some pie.
And then we're left with a picture of a snowflake, and that's the image that we're left with. It's very interesting to see where that's going. But if this just happens every week, like there's just going to be that woman, snow, crying, running, dance, then it's almost the same episode every week. That's my only problem with it.
Well, hopefully it doesn't happen near the Susan Twist character next week, because then she'll be like, oh no, I've got hypothermia.
All right, and that's the end of the episode then. So let's go on to our overall ratings.
I'm back on I'm more towards Space Babies. I'm in like 7.5 range on this one. I thought there's like moments where the writing is just like really, really strong. Character on character dialogue is really, really good here. And the tension in the beginning with the mine and like it's just really palpable. I thought like they did a really good job, but then the pacing starts to get wacky with like a lot of like things happening that feel like they didn't need to happen to keep the tension. Like it should have been even more self-contained. They kept introducing new characters, and I felt like, no, like let's solve this with like 2 or 3 people. That's it. And there was a lot of variables, but it started to get very murky. On top of like a couple allegories here, whether it was war and faith, or love, like being thrown in there too. And then the Ruby Sunday kind of like what's going on there. Like there's just a lot of themes floating around for me as well. So I don't know. It's a mixed bag. I thought there was a lot of good, but also kind of a lot of like meh. So I give it into 7.5, but Got was Doctor's just, he's still awesome. I'm really liking I like Ruby. The more and more I see her, I think they're starting to have chemistry together. So I'm really liking that as well. And my mind is blown now that Mundy was in this show, and she's going to be like that actor is going to be, and whether or not it's the same character, I don't know. Now I have to go back and rewatch the episode. So maybe next week I'll have a better, a more favorable rating. Who knows? But I definitely need to go back and rewatch it, like Charlotte was saying.
Well, I really do just want to give this a 10 out of 10, but I'm kind of hoyed back to putting it as 9.5. I don't know why, but I feel like this still could be better. But this was like a really solid episode for me. Like it was proper sci-fi. It was a good episode with proper structure and some really good callbacks and references. There are now 3 characters in this show who have been introduced who we have no answers for. That's the Mrs. Flood character. There's now this Susan Twist recurring character, and there's Ruby herself. So we've got like the one in the front, which is Ruby, who's meant to distract us from the other one, and the one that happened ages ago, which still hasn't been explained. So right now there's like 3 different mysteries all on the back burner, and I hope there's some sort of big like event which brings all of these together. Maybe they're all the same person. I don't know, but we can only really speculate at the moment. I don't think they'd be the same person. They're different people, but like Doctor Who's done weird things before. But yeah, I'll give this a 9.5 out of 10. I'll hold off on 10 out of 10 just in case there's like a really, really good episode later on.
I think I give this one an 8 out of 10. I didn't mind the music in this one. Love the Sky song. It's gorgeous. I love the chemistry that we're getting between Ncuti and Millie. I really do need to go back and rewatch this because I need to pay a little bit more attention to that Mundy character and maybe get a better read on her, because it'll be interesting if she's going to be a companion. Maybe she'll grow on me more. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid episode.
We're back, baby, and I brought that back. I'm also at a 9 though. I'm not like a 10 out of 10 for this episode. There are like I'm not gonna lie. You guys have reined me a little bit in. I was so happy after Space Babies and a little bit of The Devil's Cord that I was willing to gloss over the problems of this episode until you pointed them back out to me. And like when
You're welcome.
you have like you're starved of something for a while, and it's not been that long since we've had a good Doctor Who episode, but like you in Star Wars, you're starved of something for a while, and then you're willing to forgive all of the shit that comes with Star Wars because it's better than it was like last week. That's where I think I was at, but it's still a really good episode. It introduces the new companion. It still has those mysteries. It still has Ncuti and Millie Gibson pretty nailing what they're doing at the moment. And it had a more serious tone, so I give it a 9. I'll give it a 9. So there we have it then. That's the
Nice.
3rd episode done. The next episode is called 73 Yards, and we'll be back next week with all of the fallout from that and probably some more Susan twists to go along with it.
We're going to get Fallout references next week.
Yeah.
It's the next crossover we could put together. Last week it was Star Trek. This week it's Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, Fallout.
Babylon 5 in Wales.
Nice.
Nice. We're going deep. I dig it. Yeah. Or Battlestar Galactica, maybe.
Yeah.
Get some Cylons up in here.
Stargate.
Let's do this.
Stargate SG1 I'd be well up for. If you like what we do at Couch Soup, please like and subscribe and keep watching all of them YouTubes. Support independent creators like us by becoming a member of Couch Soup if you possibly can afford it. And keep tuned for new Watching Now podcasts in the future, like Decoding Dragons is back, guys. Decoding Dragons, the House of the Dragon Watching Now series. That'll be back very, very soon. We've got all the things on the pipeline as well, because literally every TV show in the history of man is coming out in June. So we'll have loads of stuff.
So true.
But for right now, we will see you all next week. Thank you very much for watching.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, and thanks for having me.
Three, two, one. Welcome back to the Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup. The Doctor Who Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup. I always forget something. There we go.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do it again. Welcome back to the Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup. I've done it again. It's the same goddamn thing. This is the outtake.
Ian, you're on a landmine, and if you don't do it properly, it's going to blow up.
This is the outtake.